She saw it happen from across the yard. The quick kiss on my cheek, the girl laughing, my surprised face, the moment frozen like a picture taken at the worst possible time. But what I didn't expect was my neighbor's reaction. Mia, the quiet girl next door who never looked at me for more than 2 seconds, suddenly froze where she stood, jaw tight, eyes wide, her whole expression twisted between shock and something that looked a lot like jealousy. And when she whispered, almost trembling, "So, that's what you like?" I knew everything was about to change. I could have ignored it. I could have walked away. But instead, I said the strangest, most reckless thing I've ever said in my life. "It's not what you think. Want to kiss me?" Before we get into the full story, make sure you hit subscribe, like, and comment to support our channel, The Soulful Stories. Your support helps us bring more emotional, inspiring stories just like this one. I never thought anything interesting would happen in my quiet suburban neighborhood. I lived in a small rental house in a cul-de-sac where every lawn looked the same, every driveway had a pickup or SUV, and every neighbor waved politely but never talked for longer than a minute. Except Mia. She lived in the house directly beside mine, a small blue place with a garden that always smelled like lavender. She was the kind of girl who kept to herself, oversized hoodies, headphones around her neck, hair tied in loose curls that looked like they never cared about perfection. She wasn't shy, just guarded, like life had made her build a fence higher than the backyard ones between our houses. We talked sometimes, quick greetings, a shared joke about the mailman who mixed our deliveries, nothing major. But I'll admit it, there was something about her that always felt warm, like standing next to a fireplace on a cold morning. Maybe that's why I noticed her more than other neighbors. Or maybe it's why my heart cracked a little when I saw the hurt on her face that day. It happened on a Thursday afternoon. I was outside fixing my bike when my childhood friend Emily stopped by unannounced. She'd been in town for only a day, visiting family, and she surprised me with the same playful energy she'd had since high school. She saw a tiny cut on my cheek from a shaving accident and, joking around, leaned in and kissed the exact spot. Still the same clumsy guy I knew, she laughed. It was nothing, just a friendly gesture between two old buddies. At least, that's what it meant to me. But Mia, standing in her yard watering her plants, froze mid-pour. The hose slipped from her hand, water crashing onto her shoes, but she didn't even flinch. She just stared at us, at me, like I had betrayed her in some way neither of us had ever talked about. Emily left after a few minutes, and the moment her car disappeared around the corner, Mia walked toward me. Her steps were slow, but her eyes were sharp, searching mine like she was trying to read a book written in a language she barely understood. "So, that's what you like?" she muttered. I blinked. "What do you mean, that?" She motioned to her own cheek, not touching it, just pointing at her skin like it suddenly mattered more than anything in the world. "Oh," I said slowly. No, it's not what you think." She gave a small, humorless laugh. "It's fine, you don't owe me anything." That was true, I didn't. And yet, the heaviness in her voice, the way her hands trembled slightly, the way her eyes softened like she was trying to swallow a storm, something inside me couldn't ignore it. Maybe it was the months of quiet conversations. Maybe it was the way she always left muffins on my porch and pretended she didn't. Maybe it was the loneliness she hid behind her front porch smile. Whatever it was, it pushed words out of my mouth faster than my brain could stop them. "It's not what you think," I repeated. Then, like a total idiot, I added, "Want to kiss me?" I expected her to walk away, slap me, throw a gardening glove at my head. Instead, she stared at me with a mixture of surprise and heartbreak, like she wanted to believe the offer but didn't trust herself enough to reach for it. "You're joking," she said quietly. "I'm not." And I meant it, not because I wanted romance in that moment, but because I wanted to wash away that hurt look on her face, the look of someone who'd been on the outside of their own story for too long. She didn't kiss me. Not then. Instead, she whispered, "Why would you offer that to someone like me? Someone like her. Those words landed like a punch to the chest. Mia, I said, you're not someone like you're you. And I think that's pretty damn special. She looked away, blinking fast, trying to keep tears from falling. I'm not used to people being kind, she finally admitted. Kind. I hadn't even realized that's what this was. A moment where kindness mattered more than the awkwardness, more than the misunderstanding, more than the foolish thing I said. I took a small step closer, careful not to break whatever fragile thread held her in place. You deserve kindness, I told her. You deserve people who see you. She swallowed hard. No one ever has. That's because they weren't looking. For the first time since I'd met her, her eyes lifted fully to mine, and I felt something shift, like the sky had just opened up after a long storm. We sat on the porch that evening, drinking lemonade she'd made from scratch. She talked about things she'd never told me before. How she'd moved here after ending a toxic relationship, how she didn't have family nearby, how she battled loneliness quietly, convincing herself she didn't need anyone. I thought I was getting better, she said softly. But when I saw that girl kiss you, it hurt. Not because I'm entitled to you or anything. It just reminded me that maybe nobody would ever look at me like that. I wanted to say 100 comforting things. But instead, I did something simpler. I placed my hand gently over hers. Her breath hitched. What are you doing? Being honest, I said. I don't know what any of this means yet, but I know I care about you, and I know I don't want you to feel alone. A tear rolled down her cheek, but her smile, small and shy, sparked warmth in my chest I hadn't felt in a long time. You really think I'm worth that? She whispered. Mia, you've always been worth that. For the first time since the whole misunderstanding began, she laughed, a soft, nervous little sound. So, she said playfully, wiping her cheek, was that kiss offer real? I shrugged. Only if you want it to be. She leaned closer, not for a kiss, but to rest her head on my shoulder. And somehow, that small gesture meant more than anything. You know, she murmured, maybe kindness really can change people. It changed me today, I said. The sun dipped below the houses, the sky glowing orange and pink. And as we sat there in the warm silence, I realized something important. Kindness wasn't about grand gestures. It wasn't even about fixing heartbreak or jealousy. It was about noticing someone's quiet pain and choosing not to walk away. In the days that followed, Mia and I grew closer, not because of a kiss that never happened, but because of the honest conversation behind it. She learned that she deserved kindness, connection, and moments of gentle honesty. And I learned that sometimes the simplest act, sitting beside someone, listening, offering warmth without conditions, can change a person's entire world. And no, we didn't seal the moment with a kiss that day. But when it finally happened, weeks later, it wasn't out of jealousy or confusion. It was out of trust, comfort, and kindness. Because in the end, kindness is what softens us, what brings us together, what heals the pieces we've been hiding from everyone else. And if you carry anything from this story today, let it be this. Kindness doesn't just make life better. It makes love possible.